That's actually really, really good. So, let's see. Do we have any surprises here? Penta going farm. They do that a lot. Only thing that's a little annoying is that you can see when I draw, it gets a little blurred out, but that's what it is. Now, look at this. Tausera and... Okay, so Singularity in week 1, they went down to Milton Power and pushed out Face. Now they don't. That's actually... Keep that in mind. Because now they've gone up here and they're pushing out Knights instead. That's a little interesting. So we have Singularity looting up... Ooh, that's a fun circle. We have Singularity looting up Lipovka. Knights, Face doing their thing. Moonwolf down here. You got Havu and Prim. Nobody going for military despite the fact that it was accessible. That's interesting. Free Kill and the guys are in Pachinki. You got Robin and Senta and Dave from back from Sarki. They're splitting school. Not sure if they're gonna go up to Rossak as well. Liquid looting up Yas. G2 are trying to make their way up towards Georgiopol alongside the guys from NIP, I guess we can say now. Now it's NIP, before it was WTSG, of course. Ilgigantna splitting Gatka, doing the Tempo Storm-ish split there. You got Reckoning. They're in a really wide spread. Look at this, actually. That's kind of interesting. Can I pause it with space? Yeah, but that would just be annoying. Schiff is up here. You got Haxedi in Rossak, Raffi here, and Scoom looting yellows. So either... This is game 1 of the week, right? So either this was unintentional and they wanted to go somewhere else, but they were forced out. For example, maybe they weren't expecting back from Sarki to go into App. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in game 2 for them, actually. Trifly and Team 1, they're looting up Kameshki Stalper. Smart. They were landing East Coast. They saw the circle go north, go up there. So easy get away from them. Now, where is... Did Knights connect with only 2 players? I can't really see the player count anywhere, but it looks like it's only Texas and Kremos in the game. Huh. Ooh, Mighty. I don't know, actually. I'm excited to see what MBS can bring. I mean, I haven't seen him play with them, obviously, since I haven't seen this week yet. So it's gonna be interesting. Did they lose 2 guys early that I didn't notice? They could have fought for vehicles. Oh, they probably fought for vehicles with... But this is what I'm saying, right? We just talked about this before. Singularity last week, they dropped on Face. Face turned out really early game 1. This game, they drop on Knights, and now Knights lose 2 players early. So, that's interesting. Not as far as I know. Marty, no, not as far as I know. So, Knights are down, yeah, as you said, Heinz. Knights are down 2 guys extremely early. We're fast forwarding this a little. Trifly and Squeaky got looted extremely fast in Kameshki. That's nice, so they can move in and help out. Mika's still looting up, has a vehicle though, so it's all good. Hookstar is going up to take bridge control, to wait for his teammates. G2, they like to do this hospital split where they have 2 guys looting hospital, or 1 or 2 guys looting hospital, and then 2 guys south looting up down there. Let's see now, fighting coming in. That's gonna be Schiff trying to see if he can do some damage down towards the guys crossing the bridge. That's nice. I mean, they got the info from Hexedi and Raffi that they were looting up in school, so nice that that they play off of that info, knowing that they have to push north. They take the bridge control. Now they get down 1 guy. Looks like, no, they only got 1 guy down. I'm not too interested in the kills and stuff themselves. It's we can always, it's fights can go either way, but it's really smart that Shift take control up on the bridge up here, because it's rare that you see a team go all the way around to cross over here. You could have seen the guys set up a camp over here, but it's really rare. So the fact that Shift went up to take control over the bridge here, they could even have sent 1 more guy up here, but they had Hexedi looted in here. Probably did. I don't think Hexedi has a vehicle. So the fact that Shift went all the way around to go up and get the control up there is a really smart play by him, because it forces Robin, I think, into the water. I can't really see from here, but I think Robin is in the water and Shift is up here on the north side. Moonwolf rotating out, Penta coming out, Face going around the way they normally would. Now let's see if Calvin and the guys from Singularity, they can do some damage to Face. Base most likely haven't heard any vehicles. Tausera has heard them now, that's for sure. Question is whether he's going to be engaging. Yep, they're reparking vehicles now. Phase 4 is down on the beach. Kadorian. Have there been any rumors about Larson? I don't think he's stopping with PUBG. I mean, he's a free agent like a lot of other free agents in the game right now. Oh, they didn't connect. Ah, that's what happened. I mean, I haven't heard any rumors. At least no rumors that I think are true. So, Penta. Yeah, they're doing this slow push forward. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a free agent like anyone else. That's not. I mean, he's gonna try and find a new team. Probably try out for some teams either in GLL or scrims. The scrims obviously not being streamed, so we won't know about that. But I mean, he's a good player, so I can't see why he wouldn't be able to find himself a team. Ooh, now Robin takes the fight with Shift down here. Circle pushes west. The fact that I'm just gonna slow it down for a second. The fact that the circle pushes west, I wish we could get. I hope the camera will zoom in a bit in a second. FaZe are coming around all the way over the top. The only thing that FaZe has to worry about here is this compound here being taken, which it could be, which is why I see Mexi driving all the way on the edge. So I'm gonna be interested to see whether I never use my drawing tool now that I have it. So Mexi is driving up here, right? He's the front runner for FaZe. Get inside the circle first. He's gonna drive by this compound, see if it's taken. If it's not, they could set up shop there, but it's really far on the edge of the circle, and also it's by the water. And we all know Circle 4, away from water, all that stuff. So it's kind of a last resort place to sit, but it's still only Circle 2 to 3. So it's you don't need a position in Circle 2 to 3. The only thing being, in a circle that's this far north. Especially, I mean, in this area of the map, there's just not a lot of things to play. If you don't come in early, and this is what you see more often than not in northern circles like this, if you don't come in early and get some of these smaller compounds, then you're forced to ram your vehicles into a shack late game, or into like the bunkers or something late game, or even worse, forced into Severny. And then once or if the circle goes away from Severny late game, then you're going to be screwed over by either the teams that sit down here in the dip, or, well, pretty much anywhere else. So, going to be interesting to see how FaZe will play the rotation coming around the northern side. Will they just settle for this once Mexi finds out that it's open? Or will they try to go even further? I could see them go either on the southern side, if they can get all the way around, like far south side of Severny, or even try and go up to the ridge up here. 3D Max is already there. They of course don't know that, but let's see what happens when they do move forward. We'll just speed it up a little. There you go. Yep, Mexi turns around, and there you go. So it looks like they might be settling, or are they just gonna push all the way around the backside? Now everyone's pushing in, and I hope that the map gets zoomed in, because if not, then it's, well, not exactly going to be. Nope, they're all turning around. They're settling for now. They say this to themselves, and this is a smart way to do it. They're settling for now in the way that there's no reason for them to go aggressive. They have no info. They have zero information in all of this. Their first rotation was all the way, like they rotated from mill to power all the way around the backside, and off of that, it's just really scary. So because when you drive through here, there's no immediate cover. That's the thing you have with Miramar, right? If you're driving around and you're taking fire, odds are that 5 minutes further up the road, you can just turn left and there will be a ridge you can hide behind. If you take fire in pretty much anywhere here, I would say, because that's what I mean, either they would have to go through here, or they'd have to take the beach all the way around the side here. All of this is completely open. You might have a building or something, but that's going to be where the people are shooting at you from. And also, there won't be any cover. So if you get knocked there, no way in hell you're ever going to get rescued. And that's just going to be a person down. I mean, and odds are that you'll get killed from anywhere else too, because look at this. Everything is taken already. Water, unplayable. That's, what, 20% of the circle? Every single compound in here taken. Once you come down into the macros later on, you could probably do something, because they're going to be areas of the map that aren't viable with this circle being so big that will be viable later, but will be interesting to see. So smart that they settle up here and then maybe push center next circle. We'll have to see, or just clear the entire outside. We'll see what happens. Who's IGL for Liquid? That's it's kind of always been, as far as I'm concerned at least, Samty and James who've been calling the shots together. Samty and James have always been, as far as I'm concerned at least, the ones kind of calling making the decisions together. So I don't think there's any change to that. No, it's not Scum. Nope. He is now for reckoning. Now he is the IGL, but he wasn't before. So Vard, can we zoom in on the map, please? Ansvar. Is the chat telling us to do it too? Zoom, 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 zoom. Does that mean that he will do it though? I don't know. This is kind of hard to do anything with. And this is also, I mean, this also opts for proper preparation. The fact that Calvin and Singularity, they go around the backside. They know there's a reason they call this face compound. If it's open, they'll sit there. So Singularity decided not to drive down, but drive around the top. And they have the small houses up here that they can pretty much scout. You can scout, I would say, 3 or 4 circles from a... Whoop. That's a fun map stream. Okay. What's going on, Mr. Map Streamer? How did the chat react to this? Are they gonna zoom in more? I don't know what's going on here. Was Larsen IGL too? I'm actually not too sure who was the main shot caller in WTSG. No, I think he's team captain. Team captain and IGL is not the same thing, Heinz. You can have a team captain that will be the spokesperson or the roundup. Maybe oftentimes you see that the team captain is also the IGL, but it's not always the same. Now Moonwolf smart split they've got going. New circle is close, or closed circle is closing in. And this is also kind of interesting because what we saw the fight earlier happening with Reckoning and Back from Sargi. Back from Sargi lost a player. I'm not sure. No, Reckoning kept all 4 alive. So this fight down here that they had going on, one thing being that they ended up, despite the fact that they were some of the first, I mean, Shift drove up here and he was one of the first guys inside the circle total, but they were forced to stay in this area for so long that it kind of sort of, it just never really allowed them to get any info, and now they're forced to play on the edges. Fortunately, I guess you can say, for Reckoning here, they got some breathing room and they're fairly bit inside the circle, but if it goes anywhere here, I mean, anyway, they won't have any info to what's going on. They can scout a bit from here, but it's really hard to see that far. Hopefully for them, they have proper scopes to do so. And also, I mean, Robin and the guys, they just came inside the circle now, so not exactly optimal scenario for them. Let's see. Wago and Steven G2, they're sitting up in up on the hillside. There's a few dips up in the area up here west of also, I mean, look at what Liquid did. Driving from Esnaya all the way around the southern side, I believe, coming over and going in from the side. Smart play by them. Holy ouch. This is a horrible circle. Somewhat decent for face. I would assume that they're gonna drive up on the hillside here and sit. Or maybe if they see Rustenmar and Team 1 leave, they'll go over and take their spot. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that Rustenmar and those guys know that face are sitting there. Now Calvin, is he... I mean, this is where everything goes chaos. Everybody will be forced into Severny. 3D Max already rotating in Havu, splitting up to take up more ground. Trifley goes down. Calvin gets the knock onto him. Knights, the last 2 players there, try to rotate through. Fraser coming in there. Robin going through here as well. Everybody trying to... Yeah, this is a bad rotation. We'll just play some music in the background. What are Knights doing here? Far out on the edge. Want to go over and get Squeaky's spot, but that's not open. Prema forced out on the edge. They have a bit of a dip they can sort of sit behind out there. Rostenmar leaving, so gas station is gonna be open now. They have a really nice dip up here that Singularity can play around, but their threat right now is gonna be Face. So if they can stay alive until Face is forced to rotate, that's gonna be good. If not, it's gonna be tough. Liquid goes down on the west side. Smart play by them. They know that. Okay, so this is next circle. Next circle is forced away from water. Next circle is gonna be forced away from water. So now I can't really draw the circle perfectly the size that it's going to be. I don't think that we can have it down here. That would be like, the circle would have too much water here that it wouldn't have over here. So I'm pretty sure the next circle will be forced something like this, or maybe straight south. We'll have to, we'll have to wait and see though. Fun crashes into the city. He's gonna go down. Not a whole lot they can do. Are they gonna go out too? Nope, they keep one guy up. But he's taking fire from 3D Max. Moonwolf, they want to push in. They're in a rough position as well. Penta came up from behind FaZe. That's interesting. What are they planning on doing? And G2 haven't even started rotating yet, so... What can... Okay, realistically, what can G2 do here? How can they push in? They can... No, they can't sit there. There's a little dip down here that they can sit, and they would be able to stay hidden from... let me just pause real quick. There's a dip they can play down here that they could stay hidden from Liquid. They would be spotted by Habu though, so what they would need to do is they would park their vehicles here, because then Ibiza and James won't be able to peek them, because if they peek down the hill, then Habu will shoot up at them. Habu won't be able to peek them, because if they go out to the windows, James and those guys will shoot them. So that would be their only play that they could really make off of this. Penta crashing into FaZe. They are forced into a fight that I don't think any of those teams really want. So there you go, that's going to be Penta eliminated. Washout. Moonwolf rotating the exact same direction. Despite all those shots fired, GMT with a knock onto 1, knock onto 2. O'Connell turns around. There's just nothing open here. I mean, this is a horrible circle. Yep. G2 forced to do the same. This is what we're talking about. Last resort kind of thing. You just crash into Severny and you can't do anything because the people are already there. East bunker is in. No, it's not. It's down here. You can't see it. It's right on the G2 logo. It's just exactly out. Like right on Wacko's G2 logo. It's exactly out of the circle. Yeah, whenever he moves, you can see it. He right now he's sitting by the little shack thing up there, but that's not gonna grant him a whole lot. O'Connell rotating around. He lost 2 players just before. FaZe, they did what we thought they would, go up on the right side. Their team 1 eliminated. I'm not sure exactly who that is. Hex City. Oh, that's a Reckoning. No, wait. Is it? Yes, it is. Reckoning eliminated. They're gonna be out. O'Connell, that's a long blue tanking rotation they're doing right now, because what they have to do is they will need to go down here, and that's not gonna be viable at all. And now they're actually running. Not sure exactly what they're planning on doing. Near circle gets popped. See, straight south or in this area. So yeah, that made sense. Is as little water as it can contain, I guess you can say. Or as it's allowed to contain. One more team eliminated. Team 12 gonna be out. That's G2. Nothing. I mean, they had to rotate much earlier than what they did. Then they probably could have gone into the city, but nope, not gonna happen. They come in late. Now O'Connell is probably going to be forced to do the exact same push into the city that G2 did. For now, they're just sitting on the side here. Knights. They're I don't see what Crema and Texas can do here. There is a little dip up around here that they could smash, but highly doubt that would be possible. And this is once again Singularity. They're trying to keep control of FaZe. It's kind of interesting because first they land up north of them. Last week they landed on top of them. Now they land north, and they just push, like, rotate the exact same way that FaZe has. So these two teams, they've kind of been running into one another. Moonwolf forced inside. There you go. They get eliminated. This is just what happens when you last resort thing. Push into Severny. Not gonna happen. Now, what does Liquid do? That's gonna be interesting to see. They're currently sitting over here. Not sure exactly what they're planning on doing off of this. Nice split that Diamond Dogs has. I like that. Let me just see real quick. EU. Base, they're forced to rotate through. Getting through, but they're going for the yep. Oh, Yemti gets knocked. 8C once again. This is the dip I was just talking about before, but that's exactly where I would assume Grandma in Texas wants to go as well. Yep, they saw that 8C was there now. You can't get there. So 8C gets out, Kramer gets knocked. Texas all by himself. It's gonna be easy. Liquid pushing north. Interesting. I thought they were gonna drive south around actually, but they're gonna go all the way out on the edge. They have a bit of a curve down here that they can sort of prone behind because they have no threats. They know they were actually, you know what, that kind of makes sense. They were sitting up here and they see that Texas and Kramer leave this sort of pier area. From here, that was the only place that they could be shot from over in this area. So smart in the sense that they decide to wait until they rotate and then go down and take this spot. Odds are they're going to be out next circle, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Do I have a favorite team? No, not really. There are some teams' playstyles that I like more than others, but no, favorite team, no. I can't really say that I do. I just like good PUBG. I mean, when you see something, it can even be chaotic and kind of coincidental that things work out sometimes. But when you see just good PUBG, like you can see the way that people rotate and teams that do their homework probably. I'd like to see that rather than just teams that randomly drive around and don't really seem to know what's up and what's down in circles. So I like that. This is sort of interesting circle. You're pretty much okay. So what do we have left for cover here? Let me just we can just speed it down a little. What do we have left for cover here? We have the ridge down here, which I would assume that Calvin and Taylor and Singularity go down and take. Then we have the dip. You can kind of see the S-bent road right here. You have a ridge down here, and you have a little bit of a ridge over here. But it's gonna be really hard to play if you're not at least 3 or 4 people alive because there's just too many angles to hold. Then you have the compound where you have compound 2 houses and a campfire where you have WGSG, and that's about it. Then you have the edge buildings up by church, but that's really is about it. Yeah, I have a bit of a dip up here as well. That might be where Liquid is going. It looks like James and Ibiza, they're just plowing on in. They want to fight, and they are fighting. I can't really see who's killing what, but looks like, yep, there you go. 3D Max is on the backside of I guess inside the city, and they're taking out Samty, Ibiza, and James all by themselves. Now they get out. This is what I like to see. They force a fight. I mean, they aren't really winning it, as you can see. But the fact that they committed to the push, they all did it together. It's just as what do you say? Synchronized decision making, smart play by the guys. And now we do have James up. He should be able to get the rest up onto Ibiza. 3D Max, they should have pushed out a long time ago. They see 3 guys from Singularity get from Liquid get knocked. That should just be the go-to sign. You get 3 guys down from Singularity. Oh, from Jesus Christ, from Liquid. And that should have been them just bomb rushing and trying to take them out. More people taken down. 1 player up once again. That's going to be, I think James is still alive. Elgiganten, we haven't really seen a whole lot of action from them, but they're forced to do something. Now they could try and push up, but this is just one big downhill in this kind of direction. Then you have a few trees. You have a few trees down here, but that's about it. And you have both Walker and also Abu sitting. Abu takes the dip down here. And there's not really anything else to play. I mean, there are a few ups and downhills. They have some trees over here by Calvin and Taylor and Fraser. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to play around. Texas has a tree or a rock or something up where he is. Log Snow gets killed, I think, by the circle. Didn't really notice. We'll just fast forward it. The end games here never really... You can't really make a whole lot off of that, unless, of course, if you see some really good third partying. Stars gets out of his vehicle, he gets knocked. Elgiganten gonna get completely annihilated. There you go, they get taken out. And this is I like what WGSG are doing here. They're not just sitting and playing it safe inside their compound. They know that they have people around them, and they're forced to sort of push out and take control. Because if they don't, they'll just get collapsed upon. So smart that they push up, get one knock, fall back down. Push up, get one knock, fall back down. Really, really smart playing, because they know their position is only good if their perimeter is clear, and the fact that they go out and clear it accordingly is really well done by them. Liquid somehow still alive. Texas somehow still alive, but he's gonna get pushed by the entirety of Singularity in just a moment. Noki is still inside the city. He will be forced to push out. There you go. Has a vehicle. Texas all by himself gets taken out. Smart little flank coming in from Facer. Now they get his position. Havu taking out one. You got still. You still think you still have Walker remaining? Not quite sure. One sec. There you go. Team Yikes gets eliminated. Tomil, he's in a rough spot there as well. Probably gonna be taken out. He gets taken out. So now we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams remaining. And I mean, these guys are just, I mean, the thing is, the positions they're in, they can't really do anything off of it. The only people I think now that still has vehicles would be 3D Max and WGSG, or NIP, I guess I have to call them. But it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen in NBS. And the guys really smart positioning. I mean, the fact that they get 2 hard shifts down there in a row, that's pretty fortunate. I have to wait and see. Habu, they're still playing. We talked about that. You have the position down here, and you have the position up here. Now that they've cleared their entire backside, Habu, they can safely sit back here because there's not going to be anyone playing around their back. So Timmy doing the smart thing. He's holding the entire flank down here. That's what his job is from this position. And then you have Tix, who is holding all this up here. You see he's looking backwards as well to make sure they haven't really missed anyone in the blue. But they alongside Yikes pretty much took out, when they took out Elgiganten and Havu then took out Yikes, they pretty much secured themselves the entire south side of the circle. Liquid goes out, 3D Max taking damage, Calvin out. I mean, NIP, they can sit up here for a while. Now let's see where the new circle goes. Goes up. It goes to that building again. That is really fortunate. But I mean, they went center early and they got it. So that's, I guess, kudos to them. Habu, smart, splitting out here or spreading out. What Habu did is they were all sitting down here, playing it safe and trying to scout out. Then they get info. Timmy spots that the backside is open, or the western side is open, and now they can accordingly push down. All they have to worry about, and that's why they leave Tixu down here, is take control or keep control and the containment off of WGSG. Now let's see what happens. You have 1 snake, 2 snakes, and then you have a 4v4. Circle pushes in. Of course, Nuki and Taylor, they don't want Nuki. They don't want to fight anything. They just have to lay low. Shots fired. He's just shooting at the bushes, trying to see if he can spot some people. Circle's gonna close in 30. We'll just, yeah, full speed. There you go. Timmy gets taken down. That could be a big thing. Nuki with the takedown onto 1. Now Habu can take as much control as they wanted, because Timmy was the one holding the entire sort of edge, right? So they see 1 go down. WGSG or NIP, whatever we should call them, use that to their advantage. Allows them to push out. Taylor gets spotted. They know where Noki is, but they cannot fully commit to that. There you go. Taylor takes that 1. He gets taken down in return. And now it's a 4v3. It's 4v2 now. And the fact that I think they're going to win this NIP, most likely. There you go. The fact that Noki came up and took down Timmy pretty much gave the win to WGSG. So let's see here real quick. Wow. Gaxi 10 kills. Now that is pretty damn impressive, not gonna lie. 18 kills for NIP. It's pretty solid. 3D Max, 5 kills. Liquid only had 2, but they were rotating on the edge all the time, so they were never really got in the position up until the very last push they did onto team 1. They never really had a push, like never had a fight where they could do anything. Base out early, Moonwolf out early. Yep, that's Northern Circles for you. So that was game number 1. Interesting one, must admit. Let's see what happens in game number 2. So things to look for, I guess, in game number 2 would be... Oh, that's too far. We don't want to get all this info just yet. Things we want to look for in game number 2. Let's see here. How does Reckoning, because Reckoning and up here, Reckoning and back from Stargate, they were a Reckoning, I guess you can say. They were split real thin game 1. You saw that. Ooh, Ibiza down early. That's Schiff coming up and taking that fight. Scoom flights further west. Yep, there you go. Hexeti saw that Rostock was open, so they're gonna go up and take control of that. Knights get the room that they want. Where do we see Singularity? They spotted military open. They go down and take it. Ilkiganten did the same thing, I guess, because they were looting Gatka last game. It's completely open now. I guess you do have Yikes, or at least one of the players from Yikes over there. But well, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Spotting that that it's open, going down, taking control of that. That's the thing when you don't have Alliance playing. You don't have Alliance playing, and and Vitality, the team that would go there, they're in Bravo this week, or in that week, week 2. So there was no contenders for military. They realized that, the guys from Singularity said, yep, you know what, let's take that. Elgiganten looks like they kind of wanted to do the same thing, but they saw a team drop out with them, and then smart enough, they didn't want to take the fight. Now the thing could be that Walker, if Elgiganten decide to say, and that's kind of what they're doing now, say, you know what, let's just drive up and loot where we normally would. You already have some of the guys from Yikes over there, so they could get a surprise kill on some of them. G2 with a fun split. They got 2 guys in hospital that I've seen before. You normally see. And then I think Siphon and Wago, they probably went for vehicles but didn't get any. Not sure exactly what they're doing way up here, but should be able to get reunited with their teammates at some point soon, you'd think. Mattern, thank you so much for the follow. We'll just keep it fast forwarded. Not a whole lot happening right now. It seems we'll be rotating in momentarily. I would guess Elgiganten gets himself a crate. That's fortunate. No, so the fact that Singularity loots military gives Knights a lot of breathing room. They also get to keep their players alive. Liquid lost Ibiza real early. We saw that. And you see Mista playing in the game now. Of course, since Scoom isn't there anymore. And they haven't found themselves their 4th guy yet, so he'll be playing there. Northern rotation from team 1. Simsi, you see, rotating north as well. It's kind of interesting. Nobody's North George this game. 3D Max were up there last game. This time around, they've decided to do split here. And this is kind of what happens, right? Because 3D Max, they were out here alongside G2 looking for vehicles. Nobody got any. And that means that 3D Max is going to be in a horrible position trying to get any loot this game. Fortunately, the circle is closed, so they won't be doing or taking that much damage. But you can see what they're doing. I mean, they're running on foot. The circle's already closing in. They're on foot down towards North George. That's gonna be them rotating in extremely late. So hopefully for them the circle will go somewhat north, so they don't have to go too far. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, I mean, guys, by the way, if you have any questions, regarding anything, preferably related to the game, But if you have any questions, do feel free to ask, of course. I think that was Squeaky taken down, as far as I could see. Yep, that was Team 1 down to just 3 players. They were caught off by Diamond Dogs in their rotation. Everybody looking for vehicles. Still 3D Max still running. Wacko and Phantom still running around up there. James tries to cross the bridge. He will be able to, it seems like. I say please ask questions, and you guys have just been like, oh, I wonder if he wants to have questions asked to him. Like, nobody's been writing in chat for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then when I say that, all the questions come out. Let's take them one at a time. We'll just pause the game meanwhile. Moonwolf rotation. I've seen them do this before. Where instead of, I mean, the thing is, I'll show you guys. What you get, or what you see 9 out of 10 times in competitive play is, for a circle, doesn't really matter where it is, honestly. In this case, it's really, really helpful. New sub sound, by the way. There we go. Thank you so much for the resub. 8 months, Jacob. Holy Christ, man. You've been here from the start, man. You've been here from the start. I think I streamed for like 1 or 2 months before you subscribed. I need to get like, can you get 1 year emote things? Like, what do you call them? Subscriber badges? I think you can get 1 year ones. I need to get that for you, man. You're the leader. You're the leader. 8 months. Thank you so much. Simsy, how are you doing, buddy? Feels bad that no, wait, you guys didn't lose anyone. Was it you who killed Squeaky up here? I'm not sure. Let's see, though, what's going to happen. Let's just take the questions real quick. But what I was going to say before, Moonwolf, yeah. Let's go back. With circle like these, teams, they want to go center. The further center you are, the bigger the chances are that you'll be in the next circle. So Moonwolf, knowing this, the fact is that they're rotating late. I mean, Moonwolf is rotating really late. Oh, you did lose the bet. That is true. I completely forgot about that. So Moonwolf have the the blue zone on their back. They're rotating all the way from East Coast to West Coast. They don't want to go over, you know how they have like the standard routes. Either you go down around the southern side of the Double Barns, or you go over Potato like you see Faces doing right now. But then you have to check everything. Like every time you reach a new point, you have to sort of check, like stop and scout. And Moonwolf won't have time for that because they're rotating later than Face are. So because they know that the majority of teams will go center, they would also know, or at least get the chance to figure out that they'll have free rotation onto the south side. Doesn't matter if they go up and they go around, if they go up and go this way, they will have a free rotation knowing that the majority of teams will go further north. I mean, the further south you'd see teams in this type of circle that come in earlier, of course, would be where Penta is. So if they come up here and go across, they should have an easy way to do that. Also, they've been looking at game number 1, and they will have seen that military wasn't taken in game 1. Not sure if they've been. We didn't get to see the plane path. I think it was something like this, like it went down this way, right? So maybe if they jumped out up here for vehicles, they won't have seen whether any teams went military or not game 2. Like when they were parachuting down, not sure they could spot parachutes all the way over here, or if they had a chance to. So actually, it kind of makes sense. First of all, they think it's free. I'm not sure if Risu here has spotted that the Singularity is down on the northern side of the island. But smart rotation they're doing. They'll probably come in and then drive. Either they'll drive all the way around the western side up here, or they'll go just. You could see them stop up around here, try and scout further forward, or go a little further down so they can scout some of the compounds. But they'll be coming into the circle with the blue. So if they can time it perfectly, like the sweet spot is to enter the circle as soon as it hits blue. In this case, because there's a bridge, you kind of probably want to be here in full speed when the new circle hits, because then you'll get the what do you say? You'll get the jump on anyone else trying to get into the vehicles and start the rotations. So a nice spot from you, Rask, that you spotted the rotation. Now let's see what were some of the other questions. Who do you think TSM will pick up? I do not know. Honestly, I cannot tell you. When will back from Sargi finally loot Sargi? But I mean, if they do that, then it wouldn't be back from Sargi. Then it would be back in Sargi, and then they would have to change their team name. So I guess they will never do that, because then they'll have to change name, right? And Hayes seems here again. So let's see what happens as all these teams are starting to rotate on in. What will Moonwolf do? Will they go south, or will they push further forward? And will they run into Calvin and Singularity? We'll have to wait and see. Diamond Dogs pushing on over. They'll probably either settle down here and wait for the new circle. There's a bit of a dip down there, or they'll go for the assuming either yeah, I don't know. Let's see what they do. I wouldn't expect them to go too deep in. Nope, they settle for the what do you call it? It's like a yellow plank house and a blue shop ice cream store. This is a root. It's like a big crate. Can't use it for anything. Hello there, Mr. Cameraman. So Moonwolf decides to stay on the edge. They stay on the edge, waiting for the new circle to pop, as anticipated. And now, okay. Singularity take... Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Wait. So Singularity are the military team. They had 2 vehicles when they came up here. And they went to look for boats. Now they're gonna be far out on the edge. We've had a Penta team that looted here. We've had Moonwolf looting further east. Fortunately, I guess you can say, for Singularity, they didn't rotate through here for vehicles either. But if the plane path went somewhere around here, that would mean that the majority of vehicles in this, like you have a vehicle spawns here, or you have some around here, you have one up here, one down here, and a few down here as well. The majority of all these vehicles will most likely be taken already. And the fact that Singularity are getting into the circle now needs to spend time crawling up, then run up, then find vehicles if there are any. And if they don't get any, they'll have to run either like further south for vehicles, further north for vehicles, at which there obviously won't be any, or run as a 4-man team straight into the field. That's gonna be scary. But looking at this, smarts from G2 splitting out. You have the observatory and you have the antenna. Nice split they have right there. Liquid came in late because they were taking fire from Diamond Dogs and Team 1, so they'll be sitting at Everest. And let's see where everyone else goes. You see, yep, now you got cameraman. No, don't do circles like this. Then we can't see half of it. Damn it. Oh well, we'll have to suffice, I guess. So let's keep an eye on what Singularity manages to do off of this. Moonwolf, as we said, I thought they were going to go up here earlier, but now they're going to go up in this area and sort of scout out. They want to make sure that nobody's going to come over military bridge. Makes sense. Because they probably didn't hear or notice that Singularity went across. They do get a vehicle here. That's fortunate. Do we have a vehicle? Or is that a boat? I'm not really sure if that's the boat or if it's a car. But Calvin is running up to get some more loot. They landed military, so they should have pretty decent loot, but we'll have to see. What team loots Pachinki? In this game, or in these games, it was Team Yikes, the purple team. Here, these guys. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and also keep track of what you guys are asking, so sometimes I miss a little. Let's see, 5 seconds to circle. These guys, I hope for Singularity that they didn't beach their boats, because they're in a really rough spot. Calvin fortunately finds a vehicle down there. Now Moonwolf are gonna push forward. 3D Max decides to go back out. And are they looting? And I'm not sure what they're doing. Moonwolf rotating inside the center circle. Smart play by them. They've scouted on forward, gone to the shack, scouted forward. Now they send out Race to the Sound scout, try and scout even further. He gets the 1 story pretty center, so he'll be ready for the next circle. There you go, gets 2 vehicles, but as you can see, 3 guys and 1 US. They want to get out of this as fast as they can. They do not want to sit 3 guys in the vehicle coming into the later circles. Washout is flanking, or not flanking, but trying to sort of keep containment of Penta on the other side of the compound. Only issue being, if he gets knocked, there's no way that he's going to get rest from his teammates. So, yep, he goes back for the vehicles. Probably going to do a big circle around Penta and go up towards his teammates. I want to see... Okay, so once the next circle pops, we'll just slow it down a bit. Once the next circle pops, wherever it goes, the teams that aren't in, team like Face, team like Diamond Dogs, a team like 3D Max, that are sitting, Singularity even, sitting on the edge, if they get countered by the circle, for example, for Face, if they're sitting here and the circle pops over here, or any, you know what I mean? Like if they get a hard shift away from them, that's where you see the good teams. What do you say? The good teams sort of separate themselves from the average teams in the way like how they play those circles, because they know there are a lot of players left, they know there are a lot of teams alive, and how they play on these type of circles, that's always interesting to see. So keep an eye on that. Hey Laura, we are watching GLL Alpha Season 3 Week 2, which means last Wednesday. It's Alpha games in EU. I guess we should have that in text or in writing somewhere. That's what we're doing. And hey Boomer, thank you, man. You're not distracting at all. You're always welcome to talk in here. So let's see what happens with the new circle popping. We'll just toss it back. We'll just keep it at normal speed. So circle goes somewhat west. Base, how are they planning on playing this? I could imagine them going down and play the forest line down here, but we'll have to see. Or maybe they'll just ram into the into chopsticks, but that's also kind of a last resort thing. 3D Max, they're split on the outside. They could go for yellows, they could go for double barns or double stack. This entire compound is open. Habu probably want to scout that and take control. Knights, they're just driving straight on through. That's interesting. The fact that they were allowed to do that. Moonwolf, they're not taking shots at all. Now they're taking shots. They didn't shoot at all at Texas and Voxic. Now they're shooting at Drayden. He spins out, it would seem. What is FaZe doing? They're coming on the southern side. Smart play by them. Singularity doing the same thing. They're down here also. Yeah, I know. WCG is Ninjas in Pajamas. Sitting right here. It's good for them. Now let's see. Singularity, they're going probably in the blue around Quarry. I'm assuming FaZe would do the same thing. Let's see. EMT is the front runner here. And also look at the spread that Habu has. This is really smart, because one thing is that you can say, oh, but they're spread so thin they can't really help each other. Doesn't matter. All they need to do is get info on who's behind them, because they know that, I mean, Yorski saw most likely that FaZe, or that Knights took the compound, and they probably heard all the shots fired over here as well. So they will know, okay guys, this is not available anymore. We need to do something else. And now that they're rotating as late as they are, what they will have to do is constantly keep their backside clear. The worst thing that can happen to them is if they get separated. Or if they get, not separated, if they get backstabbed. So I was just reading the chat while I was talking, it messed with my head. So they need to keep an eye on what's going on here, and that's a perfect way to do it, because there are so many ways that you can get. This is like a huge hill thing that you can that you can push up on. So it's smart that they take you. People would be like, oh, why is Nuke so far out of the circle when it's closing in? He needs the info. If anyone's pushing up, not even necessarily to see them, but the fact that he's standing here means that he will be able to hear all the vehicles coming on the south side here as well. So smart play from Habu here, taking a lot of southern control. Now let's see what happens. Circle is going to start closing in. We'll put it to 1.5. And yeah, it actually is. I have a ring on it already. I did that in April. If you mean like getting married stuff. So FaZe not going all the way around. This is gonna be interesting how they're gonna push on this, because as you can see, Nuki hurt them and he's gonna fall back towards his teammates. Now how is Habu gonna play this? Because now that they know there's a team underneath them, that's when they go from being the scout out and get the information to prepare for a fight, right? So Nuki gets spotted by Phosphase. HC on the run, Tixu taking some damage. We're just gonna focus on this right now, then we'll fall back and see what happens elsewhere. Right now, there's not a whole lot happening. You see G2 up here, but there you go. Tixu taken out. This is now okay. So FaZe knock Tixu and finish him. They immediately know who they're up against, and they're in a 4v3 advantage. Of course, they don't know where Timmy and Yorski is right now. I think Yorski has taken some shots, so they probably would know. And they have a huge downhill. Like, there's a big downhill going in this direction for those of you guys who don't know the topography of this area. So they pretty much, with the circle pushing it, they need to push on this. They really do. And you see, Phosphate is just plowing on forward. They need to push this. Singularity tries to push into the compound. Liquid is already there. 2 guys go down. That's Fraser and Sarah, Calvin, and Taylor are still up and running. Habu pushed down. Smart. They got the info and they went down. They lost Nuki in the trade and they lost Tixu as well. But they keep 2 guys up and they go down and take the compound. They saw that Knights never pushed over. And because they got that info, they were allowed to push down. Now FaZe have made some breathing room for themselves. And they'll be able to sit on the north side and wait for the new circle to push. So really smart. Really smart that it works that way. Thanks, Boomer and Longer. Oh, no worries, Boomer. No worries. We'll be doing NA after this, so we'll be doing this for quite a while. We constantly mute the music too. We'll have some music, so it's not just me talking. New circle pops, goes up here. Now, I want to listen. I want to hear from you guys. What would you expect Liquid to do? Liquid, they've been sitting miles. So we'll play. Whoops. We'll play it in super slow mo. Or just half speed, because what would you guys, I want to hear from you. What would you expect Liquid to do here? How do you think Liquid, I don't know because I didn't see the games, but how do you expect, I know what I would expect them to do. I know what Liquid will do. Damn it, Frost. I just want to, because there are some teams that, the reason I'm asking this is I could have asked about all the other teams as well. But Liquid have a very special way of doing these circle 4 to 5, or 4 to 5 circle pushes. If they get, it's not really a hard shift. It could have sat all the way up here, but when they get shifted away from, they know that they let 2 players from Singularity through because they were trying to breach the compound earlier. So they cannot just go like straight in here. So what do you think they'll do? We'll have to think about it, and then we'll talk about it as we see the game pan out. And hey, Frost, by the way, how are you doing, buddy? No idea. Yeah, exactly. It's not a hard shift, but it's really bad for them. Because guys, in case you don't know this map that well, I'm just gonna draw a line right here. You can see it too, but I'm gonna draw it up for you anyway. This is a field. There's a little bit of an uphill up here that you can you can stay down here, and then you won't be able to be seen from over here. But other than that, this is a field, a big one too. So, I mean, there are some rocks and there are some trees and bushes you can play around, but this is not where you want to go. This is where you want to be right now. Right now. With the later circles to come, because, I mean, the thing is, for a team like Yikes right now, they're split 2-2. I'm 100% sure, and if it doesn't happen, then I guess I'm just bad at analyzing stuff. But I'm 100% sure that one of these 2 compounds will get pushed. Or like will, as people say, pulled up on by some of these guys. So as soon as the circle pops, and now we're already probably 5-6 seconds into the circle shift. Even before this circle popped, they need to figure out 2 things. One thing, if we get the circle, which they did, where do we want to sit? Which compound do we prefer? And that doesn't necessarily mean which is better for the circle. It could just be that they've practiced playing around this double red more than they've played in Gatka. And Gatka is a bigger city, so you need to spread more thin in order to keep people away, because sitting 2 buildings next to each other is one thing, but sitting 4 buildings next to each other is another thing, in the sense of how you can come over and defend your teammate. So they need to have already prepared, like the in-game leader needs to have already said, guys, if we get the circle, you guys get your butts over here immediately. That hasn't happened yet. I mean, they might have made the call, but the rotation hasn't happened. And I'm gonna be excited to see what happens if they don't. I would assume that one group goes over to the other. We'll have to wait and see, because look at all the people down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams sitting on the southern side. I mean, they're gonna be coming. And also the guys that are out here, we got 2 teams out on the side there too. So find each other, guys. Just a word of advice. We'll see what happens. And I'm doing good, for us, thank you. Yeah, exactly. 2 guys sitting and holding Gatka alone, that's gonna be That's gonna be. We'll just play it in normal time, see what happens. Texas goes west. They might want to take the top here, or there's a bit of a dip you can sit on over on the side over here too. 3D Max trying to push in. There you go. The rotation comes in, but let's pause this. They're rotating. Smart. You want to do that, and more importantly, I hope for the guys from Elgiganten and back from Sargi, they've scouted that. They've kept their eyes on the compound, and they hear or see them rotate out, because now it's going to be a foot race for these two teams to see who's going to get this area first. Because the one that does will be in the better position. But the thing is that, fortunately, it looks to me like their teammates up here managed to take out Shiv and Raffi. I cannot see if both of them are knocked, and we can't really see the kill feed either. But Skoom looks to have turned around. So, super clutch for Team Yikes that one guy gets both of them taken down. Because had they been allowed to jump out, with Skoom coming in there as well, would have been a 3v2. They could have been taken down immediately. And then as you see DT Walker and his teammate drive up to them, before they would have been able to turn around, realize that they weren't going to save their teammates, and go back to where they were before, one of these teams will have taken that compound. So these rotations, and that's once again where you see the really good teams shine above the average ones, they need to happen, I mean, instantly. Can't read instantly, but really quickly. And this could have been too slow had they not been able to get the knocks here. But let's see what happens. So the help comes up. Knights decide to sit up here. Nogi is already up there. G2 trying to see if they can do some damage to them. Yep, there you go. It's a foot race. Deeks got in early, but the push comes in from the teammates. And now it's, for now, a 2v2. Senta comes in 3v2. Robin is there. And that's also kind of yikes, right? Because Elgiganten, they had 2 more guys. They could have pushed 4 guys up there, but they decided only to go for 2. Now they're outnumbered, and odds are that they just lost 2 players, and they're on like way out on the edge of the next circle too. Yeah, true. They could have taken control down here, but I guess they scouted it from there, and they saw it was free. One thing is analyzing what happens. Another thing is analyzing what happens in people's, like in the players' heads. I've been trying to do that for a while, but more often than not, when I try to say they did this because they wanted to do whatever, then when I talk to the players afterwards, like, Toby, it was not at all because we knew this and knew that and knew this and knew that. We just went up here, we saw it was free, and we took it. So we'll, I mean, they might have driven up here, and then they could have taken shots from, like, they've been going in this direction, and they could have taken shots from, I don't even know, the Ridge or Yellows or something, and then they would think that it came from here. I don't know. According to people, the sound is pretty bad in PUBG these days. I've only played 2 solo games today, so I don't know about that. Why does back from Sargi have people on the east end of the circle? Yeah, they were sitting out here on the side. There was no reason for them to go elsewhere. So let's see what happens. Back from Sargi, take over the compound. Smart play from them. Robin was the scout. He told his teammates to go down there, and they went. Now Brexco and Penta, they're going to be coming in here. Robin is going to be all by himself. This fight is still going on, and hopefully for back from Sargi, they'll be able to get this fight done with quickly so they can start looking elsewhere. Base, what are they doing now? The circle's going to start closing in. We talked about Liquid earlier. Let's see what they do here. Yemti is... Oh, he's greedy. He wants Gatka. Not sure he's gonna get it though. Now they're gonna get the rocks outside Gatka. Not exactly the best place to sit. We'll have to see what happens. They could get completely shut down here. Liquid going around the southern side. Penta decided to dive in. And this is what I was talking about. Dave and the guys from back from Sargi, they managed to finish this fight. They managed to finish this fight before Penta came in. Had Penta third party crashed this fight, that could have screwed over. I mean, they would have gotten the info from Robin because he sees them rotate, right? But they could have been screwed over so hard because they got the fight down. They were probably sitting and medding or whatever what's going on there. Now they've gotten the kills, had a few seconds to get medded up. Robin gets the info, boom, and it's a fight reset, and now they just have to hold off the breach. So smart play in that sense. Fuss, completely determined to go inside Gatka. He's gonna... Oh, he didn't die, I guess. There you go. Now he gets taken down. Teams trying to rotate. This is gonna be a really hard play from Liquid. We know they like to rotate late. I would actually imagine... I could imagine them... Oh, you do have chopsticks there. So something like this. You know what? That could be a fun play to see. If Liquid go around the backside and take up here, that would be interesting. I don't think that's going to happen, but that could be kind of fun. Just because you know that if he goes north, they like to go around from the other side. So let's see what happens. Mystic goes in, but they still have NIP or WTSG sitting up by the wizard. Still one guy up from Penta, that's Brexco. Robin wants to come over and help, that's nice. Look at this, Team Yikes, they have not managed to take out Reckoning, so they're sharing Gatka right now. That's not what they want to have happen. They're forced out of vehicles, running forward on foot. Empty taking a lot of fire, he's gonna get knocked. There you go, taken down. Team's taken down as well. And this is kind of the thing, right? Because what could they have done differently? They could have done, as I said, go all the way around, but there would just be too many. I guess that would be too big of a risk trying to push out on that side. We did talk about the ridge that we have down here. We sort of marked it just before, so they can stay down here if they can stay alive. That is, washout could become a problem if they try to push around the right side. They would run straight into both Habu and Moonwolf actually. That is a fun circle. Gatka's in. 80, only player from face up. Or face up and running, not face up, as in the saying. Knights, they have to figure out what they want to do. Do they want to push into yellows? Do they want to try and continue around the north side? Right now they want to contain G2. Smart by them. You can see they're all kind of looking down in that direction. They do have the hay bales, and but there's a little bit of a ridge line running up here that you can play around. Mr. and James, they're still inside. Calvin trying to sneak his way inside as well, but that's going to be hard when he has to go down the hill and out into the open field. We can fast forward it a little. Habu, they're spread thin. They lost 2 guys before, and now they're in the open and they're not inside the circle. Edgecast gets spotted. Demi goes down in return, and now Yorski cannot make a counterplay off of that. Has to just crawl on forward, trying to see if he can get on in at the new circle. Elgigant are leaving. And for a team like Team 1, they also have to really watch out, because now Stars, oh, they're going. There's a bit of a rock that you can play around up here. Yorski taken down. Elgigant making sure of that. Everyone is pushing on forward. Calvin runs over a player. Everybody is getting annihilated. Yep, that's gonna be... Wait, that's gonna be both NIP and Singularity out, and James and Mr. somehow still alive. Back from Sargi, they push into Sargi, or into Gatka. Sorry, Mr. goes down. James taking fire from all different directions. Moonwolf, they have to push forward. Mr. goes down. Knights, they are deciding to sit up here. They have Noogie. Noogie was the third party kind of disruptor last game, so let's see if he can do the same thing here, or if Knights know of his position. Looks like they know where he is, but we'll have to wait and see. Liquid goes out, and he's Gatka. Hopefully it'll shift away from Gatka, but we'll have to wait and see. New circle popping, kind of away, kind of still in. The fact that this compound was open for so long and Team 1 were the ones to go in and take it, despite the fact that they were rotating super late. Because when you had teams like Diamond Dog sitting up here, you had Liquid sitting up on Everest, you had Knights sitting down here. Team 1, they were rotating out of crates still, and they just circled their way down and took control of it. Probably not through yellows, but you know what I mean. Circled their way down, got control of the double reds compound, and now they're sitting really well. As long as they can keep people at bay, that's the most important thing. There you go. Knights taking down guy there, but they do get one knocked. That could come to bite them in the butt later, because now you see they're taking fire, and this is once again the they do get the rest up, but once again this is where the solo players say, oh, he only got a knock and then he died. Doesn't matter, but it matters a lot for the team that did get knocked. Moonwolf eliminated. Idric trying to prone forward probably. He's not inside yet. We'll need to continue crawling. Diamond Dogs, they're sitting in the yellows, suiting their yellow team color. I'm not sure exactly why the team color is yellow. It was so game. Yeah, I could imagine, Triply. I could imagine. I don't know how you're allowed to take it, but I mean that's kind of the thing, right? TSM Gold 1, thank you for the follow. That's kind of the thing, right? When you have circles that center around, it's not really a god compound, but it's a good compound in that area of the map. When you have circles that center around a compound like that, you're gonna scout it, but you're also gonna be like, meh, why would we want to scout it? There's probably gonna be people there, right? And if enough people do that, and then instead of like for teams that sit up in Wizard or sit on the edge or even sit all the way over by Observatory or in the hills, they're gonna be scouting this. You want to like they want to scout the places that aren't the #1 spots, because obviously this is gonna be taken, right? So but no, I mean it's open and you got it, so fair play. Good job, man. Let's see. Hey, Battlein, how are you doing? Yeah, me too. I mean, as a caster, I like these circles in the, as you said, like see what people can come up with. Because when you have nothing to work with, what do? Do you make a Battlein and somehow do this? Second place, easy. Or do you? I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Or do you do something crazy with like vehicles all over the place, make a huge car fort, and try to just fight your way to circle control? Like what do you do in these type of scenarios? I never said you weren't Battling. You're a great player. You're great. Like what do people do in these scenarios? That's interesting. But from a casting perspective, like actually trying to sit and cast it, what we do here. Oh, that is true. What we do here when we sit down and we can pause the games and look at everything that happens and analyze like how these different pushes happen, then you as a viewer, you as a viewer, as a spectator, you understand what's going on here. But if this was a live game, I'm sure that the majority of the observing right now would be on inside Gatka, because you have 3 teams in there. They all kind of have to get out of there. So you won't know how Knights rotated. You won't know what Diamond Dogs did to hold them off. You won't know exactly how Team 1 managed to get to this position and all those things. So even though it's fun to have these kind of circles from an analytical perspective where we're doing it right now, it's really hard to sort of bring all the info forward, because I can't sit and say, oh, look at this, Knights are rotating all around the backside and they're gonna ram into this compound. I'm not sure if they will, but if the camera is in Gatka, and that's nothing against the observer, because you can only be one place at the time, and spectators in PUBG don't want to sit and watch the map feed all the time. They want to see the action, which makes sense. So you don't really get to do all this analysis that I like to do. This is what I like to do. I mean, like to get to talk in depth about some of these things. What are you saying? The only problem with the compound is you commit there too early. Exactly. It's one of those, what do you say, make or break kind of compounds that you can commit to them, and you can kind of let me just slow it down because now we're speeding it up so much. I'm expecting the push here. You can kind of sort of hide your vehicles on the I mean, if you know that you have people fighting in Gatka and none of them are going to look down towards you because they're forced to look inside the compound, you can kind of hold your vehicles on the side. But I mean, once you go out on this side, you're going to be visible from yellows. Once you go on the south side, you're going to be visible from all the fighting that you heard down here. And yeah, I see what you're saying. It can be tricky. It can be tricky to. We do have that. We do have that on the side. But as I'm saying, Laura, and that's kind of the thing that casters, myself included, we don't mess up, but we sometimes when we have normally when you're casting from a studio, we no, it's not always, but oftentimes when you're casting either from a like LAN event or like when you have a proper production setup, you have your stream feed, like what the observers are. What the stream is showing, the in-game feed, and then you have either next to it or underneath or whatever, you can see the map. And then sometimes when you're sitting and casting, you're like, oh my god, look at this rotation coming in. But right now the camera is somewhere over here, right? And then you can be like, oh my god, Knights rotating in. And then sometimes you can say that, and that will tell the observer to, oh, something is happening with Knights. Whoo! Let's quickly jump over in there. And that's where guys like Ansvar and some of the other high-end observers are really quick at catching the catching the the kind of the hint that the caster is trying to throw in. I mean, of course they don't say, "Hey, Mr. Observer, let's look at knights. They're rotating," because that'll be stupid. But you can sort of hint it in a way, and then if the observer is fast enough, boom, he'll jump over there, and that's amazing when it works like that. But sometimes, I mean, I cannot just sit and say, "Oh, look at what's happening down here," and I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for the viewer if I'm constantly talking about stuff that isn't being watched by you guys. So as much as it's nice, as much as it is nice, well, that was the top one to say, to have a map feed so we can see what goes on in the overall picture, you can't really always use it a whole lot if you're focusing elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, Battling, I was wondering if I should do CIS for this as well. I'm probably gonna do that. The only thing is, you know what, it's honestly just a bad excuse. There are too many of the CIS and Turkish teams that I don't know enough about that I feel like I could do a proper analysis of, because I can sit and look at what they do and say how I think they could have done it differently or how it worked out what they did, but I won't know the mindset behind it because I don't know the players. Here I don't know all. For like Team Yikes, I don't know who they are, as I haven't seen them before this tournament. So but for pretty much the majority of the other teams, I will know how their play style and how they like to play, so it makes it more informative. Because everyone can say, "Oh, look at this. Team 1 went inside this compound early and they got 4 circles in a row. That's why they're good. That's why they won the game." But that's not necessarily, first of all, the reason why it happened, and second of all, true. I mean, if you just put it out that way. So that's why I like to be, when we have time like this to go in depth, I like to be able to talk more about the teams. I hope it makes sense. But you know what? I will week 3. That's gonna be on Thursday. I will start doing CES as well, just for you, Battling. So you better be here. On personal streams, by good new teams on lands and watch the whole. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So let's see what happens here. Let's put it up to speed. I said that I thought maybe Knights would plow down into Team 1's compound. Let's see if that actually happens. Yep. Oh wait, no, they don't. They go around. No, they kind of tried to commit to it. This was interesting. They kind of try. Of course, that's also the thing where the Kramer scared the. Yeah, I would imagine. This is kind of the thing where I can say, "Oh, why didn't Voxic push in?" Because he's the team captain, right? So why didn't he push in? He probably made the call, but then he backed out when he saw people get shot at. But Kramer went in, and Drayden went in, and Voxic didn't, so now he sacrificed his teammates, and as a caster or an analyst, I could say, "Oh, why didn't he follow his team, blah, blah, blah." Or, "Why did half the team do one thing and the other half do another thing?" But believe me, when they were doing this push, there were probably 10 billion things happening at the same time. And there's just too much going on to, like, especially if you don't know the players or how they normally like to play, that, like, there's too much going on to really make a statement that true in that regard. So let's see what happens here. They kind of tried to push in, didn't really work. They were taken down. Voxic managed to get around on the other side. He's prone by the big bushes out here. G2 getting picked apart. Simsy is pushing all the way up. Wait, how did that happen? Oh, he just... Let me just rewind a little. And fast forward a little. Now that you're here, Simsy, I want to see what you did there. The Skoom is sitting outside. I like that he's sitting up on the trees and the rocks, up here on the side, on the northern side of Gatka, on northern, and he still has Shiv and Hexedi inside the compound, or on the east side of the compound. So Knights, they decide to rotate. They do go down, and then you see Voxic. And this is also a thing for in-game leaders, right? Because, and also a thing that's really tricky Also a thing that's really tricky for in-game leaders. One thing is thinking what you want to do and what you want your team to do. Another thing is being able to communicate it out fast enough. And in situations like these, when you have a team pushing, like when you're breaching a compound or trying to, you don't have more than a half second. If you want to tell Kramer, who is driving full speed in his vehicle right now, that he has to not go inside the compound, that call has to come at least here. Because if he's already here and he's already breaking or trying to ram the building, he won't have time to go around it with a big enough curve that he won't be taken out from the compound. So Voxic, one thing is that you can say that he should have called it, but I mean, now is when he takes fire. The time that goes between him taking fire, leaving the compound himself, and then telling his team to not go there, if he's really good, like if he's really, really good, he can probably do it in 2 or 3 seconds. Like taking fire, oh guys, go away. I mean, now I can do it because I'm not playing the game, but when they're playing, it's something completely different, right? I mean, and it's kind of already too late for Kramer to get that info. So Voxic will know because that's just his instinctive reaction to do something else. But from the time that he does it, processes it, calls it out to his teammate, and then for Kramer to react on it, that's just going to be too much time. And that's why you see, I mean, even Drayden didn't really get the memo in that. See, he actually did kind of try to run you over. So those things are really hard to sort of play around in that regard sometimes. Now let's see what happens here. Normal speed. Again, I want to see what Simsi did since he ended up on top of Skoom. They get 8C. You see, something happened with Team 11 here in the kill feed. I believe they killed 8C. So he drives up because he gets the finish off on 8C. So they get told that this rock is open. All of a sudden, boom, Skoom is there. It's not that open anymore. Fortunately, you saw Ultrastar shoot down towards Skoom, so Simsi gets the info that Skoom is there early on. And now it's just a really tough play for both of them because they're kind of trapped up behind the same rock. They're taking fire from multiple directions. Fortunately for Simsi, he has his friends behind him that can hold him, and I believe it might actually have been Fun or one of the guys back from Sargi that got the knock onto Skoom. So that gives some breathing room for Simsi. Voxic is hiding, Hitrig is hiding, Siphon. Yeah, really. It looks like Siphon is the one who's knocked, so he's probably not hiding. He's just crawling around, trying to stay alive. And you still have 3 teams inside of Gatka. So next circle, are we going out? Are we going in? It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Siphon goes down. VLAN is still alive. Nice spread that they got now. I like the spread. Mika's sitting all the way out on the outsides. Trifly is sitting on the shack on the backside of the compound, and then you have Rust and Mark covering the north side, just in case people want to push. Because if the circle goes down here again, you're gonna see people forced into either breaching or just stay miles out on the edge trying to hold each other off. They actually get it. Wow. And now the thing is, you have a team like back from Sargi. You have a team in Yikes, and you have one guy, I believe that's like Seti remaining from Reckoning. And actually kind of also have Diamond Dogs. They all have to figure out. Everyone knows that this compound was taken because, well, I mean, Knights tried to breach and that didn't work. Back from Sargi, there's still 3 guys up. I believe they would still have vehicles. What's keeping them from rotating right now is the fact that there are still teams in Gatka, and they've been fighting against Diamond Dogs over here. So they don't have an easy push down towards the compound. A team like Diamond Dogs, they could probably do it because they will know that because they have vehicles first of all, and second of all, they know that Diamond Dogs, that back from Sargi needs to focus on Gatka because they all have to leave. So it's gonna be interesting to see if anybody is actually gonna be not greedy but willing to push the compound, knowing that there's not a whole lot to play around on the northern side. It could, Ruben. It could. I mean, I'm not gonna say that everything I do trying to analyze is gonna be correct, in the sense that maybe I don't know what goes behind the decision making that the players make or stuff like that. But I mean, just watching games like this, you don't even have to listen to me. Just watching games like this, I mean, just watching them, that's informative, right? If you think these guys are better at the game than you, and they're doing something you're not, and they're having success with it, odds are maybe you could learn a thing or two from watching that. So always a good thing to go in and watching the competitive games, especially afterwards. I mean, it's nice to watch it live, but it's always really nice, to me at least, to be able to pause it and rewind and say, how did that actually work? And to me, that's a lot easier when you have the map feed than trying to watch in-game, because you don't always see all the different aspects of what's going on when you watch the like the camera fly around and shooting and all that the same way that you do. I mean, some things get lost when you watch the map feed. You don't get the actual fights and ooh, how did that knock happen, or what exactly happened there with his aim, or why. You don't get those things. But to me, I prefer the overall picture more than the other one. I feel like I have to go in Trifly now and find this place where stuff happened. We'll do that another time. I'll do that by myself and get a good laugh from that. So, circle is normal speed. We'll speed it up a little just to see what happens. What are Ultrastar and Diamond Dogs planning on doing here? Bots, Mikas? Good info, good info. Now they know that there's a guy. Because normally what you see happen is that if you know the compound is taken, they'll say, oh, but we can just play from the shacks. But now they spotted Mikas. He's going to be taking fire. Smart. He goes back inside the house. So now technically you could have a team breach the backside of the shack here. And of course they'll have to worry about Voxy and all the guys over here, but it's an option. So 4 guys up, make that 3 from Diamond Dogs. Axetti takes the vehicle, that's not gonna happen. Shift takes down Swalker, so that's gonna be him out. Shift taking a lot of fire, he's gonna go out. Yep, there you go. In 0th place, because that's a word now. 1 monitor. Multi-stream, whatever it's called. .tv, isn't that what it's called? So they decided to play it safe instead. Makes sense. They had to spend too much time fighting, and they want to make sure that they have their sides of the circle clear. Considering that you don't have a lot of cover here, you want to make sure that you can take out the other team first. Voxic is enjoying every second of this, because the only team that knows where he is technically would be Rostenmar and Team 1, because they were the ones shooting his teammates, and these guys are so focused on taking out each other that these guys will try to third party it, which means this could probably be a 2nd place if Mikas doesn't see him. We'll see what happens. Circle once again goes to the compound. Wow, that's Trifly, that's some good circles you got there, huh? Yeah, you can go on multi-stream, and then you can plot in which Twitch channels you want to see, and then you can see them at the same time. It's also kind of fun if you like have a streamer that you follow a lot, like a professional PUBG player or something, and you see that he's playing with another guy that you like to follow. Then you can have both the streams running next to each other, and you can kind of see what's going on from both their perspectives. So Senta all by himself, back from Sargi, kind of got screwed over. Voxic gets the knock onto Mikas. Now he has to make a rotation or push off of it because, well, he's all by himself, taken out. That's the only thing that couldn't happen. That Voxic and Mikas fought off. And I like what this is. I like what we see right here. So they see the knock come in. They see that, what's his name? Trifly is forced out to take control of what's going on because he got a teammate knocked. Now they know that, probably, I'm not sure if they're aware, but either way, it's a smart play. They know that Mikas is down. They know that Trifly got the finish off onto Voxic, so he's on that side of the compound too. Also, he knows that Trifly will be forced to go out and get the res up. Even if there were 4, that would leave at most 2 people up in the compound to fight. There were still 4 guys up now. Lux got knocked, so that's what it is. But there were still 4 guys up on their team when they pushed in, so they would have a guaranteed 4v2 advantage in that sense. Let's see how it pans out. They try to push on in. They're getting stalled by Rostenmar. Holy cow, Rostenmar. Is he 1v3-4ing this? And okay, Rostenmar gets a quad kill. Yeah, that happens. I guess what they could have done differently, and this is where analyzing becomes easy in the sense that you're not at all in the same place that they are when you say what they could have done. But committing to the building push rather than trying to get angles from outside could have been a thing, because Rostenmar can't fight. It's easy for him when he's inside the building to peek out, take a shot at one guy, go back in, peek out, take shots in other directions, and do that back and forth. That's a lot easier than having 3 guys standing on top of you and trying to spray at all of them at the same time. So he was fortunate in the sense that he was allowed to use the building to his advantage, whereas to had Simsi and the guys from Diamond Dogs been able to push all the way up to the building, it would have been much easier for them to get like a double peek or sort of help each other. But because they were so far out and they lost Lux early, I think he was the only one with a vehicle. I'm not quite sure. And also the sense that they weren't completely sure whether it was 1 or 2 guys. It's always tricky to try and figure out those scenarios. So Senta, fortunate position by him. Let's see if, I guess the game ended. Who won? Oh, thank you. There you go. Team 1 wins the game. GG's. And we don't get to see the scoreboard. Oh, I hate it when they take this up before the scoreboard comes up. But I mean, that's what you get. They went center early on in the compound. You can see it, or you cannot see it because of my webcam. But in the double red compound over there, they went center. They took it. They were fortunate to get it all the way through and get it, but they got it in the end, and it gave them the win. Now let's see. Now we're going over to Miramar, and this is where people say, "Oh, but you can't analyze Miramar because it's Miramar," and things like that. But you know what? I'm gonna prove you wrong. There's a lot of analyzing to do, or to be done on Miramar. Oh, pardon. It wasn't anything important. It was just the day before I went on vacation, we made a full cover of the Power Rangers theme. I don't think we should be playing that right now, as we're doing something else. But I can show it to you after we're done with this. So, looking at Miramar, we could talk about the map as a whole, but I like to just let's see how people drop first, and then we'll go into detail with what happens afterwards. We'll play some music. I don't know what music this is. What's going on here? What? Thank you. So, drops, things we know. Taylor, Fraser, Calvin, Singularity, they've been kind of all over the place. In a good way, And now it looks like they're going to loot up in... they're going to loot up in Val Del Mar and the southern side. I think I've seen Habu loot down here. No, Habu goes to El Pozo, that's right. Never mind. Forget what I just said. Let's see. Everybody going for vehicles south. Circle goes, ooh, that's a northern circle. Well, kind of center, but still rather north. NIP loots San Martin. Shiv and Reckoning does a spread out here. Moonwolf like to go as the owner. So does El Giganten. Penta with their wide spread in Chimacera. That works. 3D Max going up towards Alcantara. I would assume they might have gone towards Montenegro, but I would think they go even further north to loot up here. Rostenmar and the guys would go El Azahar, I think, or Minas Generales. Tony gets the finish up onto Deeks. That's the usual early game fight for vehicles. Yeah, they're rotating up north. This is interesting to me because I know that G2 like to do their power grid split around here, right? We'll just let it play out as we talk. I know that G2 like to do their power grid split, and I know that Knights like to do their split, but normally the way that you see Knights split this is with power grid as well. And this happened last week as well, where Knights lost players early on because they were fighting around here. So I'm surprised to see that they haven't decided to go elsewhere. But I mean, of course, if they're not running into each other, that's fine. There's just so little room for error, or like such a small margin from where you can overstep one another that could screw you over, because you know that NIP is sitting in San Martin. You know that Liquid is in Picado, and you have FaZe in Montenuevo. So there's really not a lot of room if you don't get the vehicle spawns you need, if you don't get the items or the loot that you need, so you're forced to loot for a little longer, you can get screwed over so easily. I mean, the fact that Texas has to go all the way down to, I call them fire stations, some call them factory. I mean, people have a lot of different names for the buildings. You know, the ones with the flat top and then the balcony all around, like the red building thingies, workshop, whatever you want to call it. This could have easily been looted already by one of the guys from FaZe. The fact that it's not, that's good for Texas. He will be able to get looted up, but that is scary, to say the least. Mika's far from his teammates, should be able to get looted. Where is Trifly? Wait, Trifly, are you still? Wait, give me a sec. I want to know one thing. Trifly, I can see that you're still, I mean, you're still in the chat according to the viewer at least. Let me know one thing. Do you go number one? I'm gonna pronounce your name in two ways. Let me know what you, at least, or one thing is what you prefer. I mean, I assume that you don't mind too much, but is it one, Trifly, as I said, at least normally, or is it two, the way that I hear the most other casters say is Trifeli or Trifeli? I think Trifeli is what most people say. Trifeli. Is it one Trifly or Trifeli? I want to know, like, where do you put the, in Danish is, where do you put the pressure? Like, what do you, I don't know, you know what I mean. Which is right, which is wrong, because I want to do it right, whichever one it is. Looting phase, everybody's gonna be rotating in late, except for Liquid. I guess they're gonna go up and take control on the eastern side, I would assume. They could be going up to the double barns. They're going all the way around Hex City, actually. That's a smart rotation. Oh, they also have a good spot right around here that you can sit in. And you can kind of split 2-2 here and here. But I guess that's not what they're doing at all. Because if you sit on these two spots down here, you can take, you can pretty much see the entire southern field. So first off, you can hold a lot of rotations off on the outside, and you can just spot everything. That's a good early game place to sit if you don't want to commit to building too early. But they're actually going even further north than I anticipated. And then I can eat in the meantime. G2 trying to get control of St. Martin. Not gonna hurt. They lose 2 players. Yeah. That's what I would think too, but everybody's just saying it differently, so I wanted to know what was the... There we go. I just need to get some food real quick. YMT rotates up early, like he always does, tries to come up and get a little bit of control. Habu rotating around. Texas and Knights are sitting up on the kind of the alley up here as well. Not the alley, what do you say? Valley? Alley. The valley up here. In circles like these, you have so many small compounds that you can sit in that won't really damage you at all from taking those positions early on. So whereas to an Erangel, you get screwed over if you commit to a compound early on. That's not good to leave, like you get all your vehicles damaged and stuff. But in a circle like this where there's so many compounds available, kind of the opposite happens, that you have so many compounds available that nobody cares to take them early on, which means that you have teams sitting in the mountainsides here. You're gonna have a team sitting up here, you got a team sitting on the southern hill, south of San Martin, the entire backside or southern side. Down here you could have teams sitting this spot that we talked about just before. I mean, there are so many mountainside spots that you'll see teams up to go for early on rather than sitting in a compound. Also because on Miramar, because the terrain is so different from Erangel, like it's so much more high, so much more low. Because of that, the compound doesn't really give you the same advantage as it does on Erangel. The fact that you can go up on the second floor on Erangel and from there get a good wide view of what's going on is a huge benefit, and you can't get pushed instantly because people won't be able to shoot up at you if you're inside the compound. But pretty much anywhere, unless if you're on a mountain top, even if you're on the top floor, there will be, for example, if you're sitting on the top floor in the compound down here, you can just sit up here and you can spot anything on the second floor of the building. So you won't get that advantage on Miramar, which is also why you pretty easily get contained or pinned inside a building or compound on Miramar as compared to on Erangel. So what people like to do on Miramar in particular, especially early on, is spread out, as you see a lot of them do, and then sit on mountaintops or hilltops rather than go for compounds early on, because you get more info and you actually, even though it sounds kind of weird, you're actually safer than you would be in most of the buildings. But also because you can scout out so much more. Sand Pirate, thank you so much for the follow, man. Just a little heads up for any newcomers to Miramar. But let's speed it up. Let's see how these guys decide to rotate on up. I would assume that Simsy and Diamond Dogs would do actually kind of what Savage is doing right now. Rotate either up, you know, they wouldn't go through LSR. They'd actually probably go around the northern side. You have like a bit of a access point here, or go even further up and take the northern entrance, because they will know, like we talked about earlier, most teams want to go center, and then you know that there'll be so much room coming around from the northern or the far southern side. So Savage probably going through, I would assume, around here, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, how they do decide to do that. Knights taking fire from face. I guess one more guy has gone down from team 1. Oh, Mikas is... Oh, he's still down there. I was thinking, wait, what? They go all the way around or no? Nope, it looks like they're going through now. Yeah, so through around here or up around Cruz del Valle. Cruz del Valle. Looks like Diamond Dogs are going south of El Sahar. Probably up through here and then in. Hopefully for them, Rostadma will have left before he has, so that's all good. Singularity coming in from the northern side. Now, if we could have the camera zoomed in a little, that would be awesome. Circle goes back south. That's kind of interesting, especially for teams that went all the way up here, because what you can... I'm just going to pause it real quick, actually. The fact that they know that a majority of teams would have gone center, that means now that, I mean, their plan was to come in from the northern side and have some breathing room, right? All the teams that were center before, they're now on the edge that Elgigant and I guess Rostamar too, that they wanted to play from, like the edge, the northeastern edge, which means that all the room that they had to rotate is now going to be already occupied space. So either they have to continue their rotation all the way around towards Calvin and Singularity, or they have to stop right now and go back to the southern side, because if they come in from up here, that's going to be a really, really tough rotation for them to make. We'll have to see how they plan on doing this. I think Scoom is already kind of going in this direction. Looks like Diamond Dogs are kind of trying to rethink how they want to push this one too. Yep, they're going in from the northern side now. Now Liquid and Elgigant can get trapped on top of each other. Face, they're still fighting. They're fighting Penta. Hey, Grim. Long time no see. I guess that's also because I haven't been on. But hello, buddy. How are you doing? You have to listen to what we did the other day, Grim. We'll do that after this game. I can just show it to you real quick. Penta lose one guy. They're forced to rotate out. Face sitting in there. There's like a both concrete building and a warehouse down in that side of the map. Map stream, please zoom in. We want to see more. I cannot see what's going on. It's too small. That's not what she said, by the way. Oh, that's cool. Did you? I guess you started school again then. Did it start already yet? Oh, we're all in... Oh, I just for a second thought we were still in August, but we're almost in October. Jesus Christ, of course. You started school now, right? I would assume so, at least. Also, how do you guys like that we do this? Thank you, Mr. Mapstream. How do you guys like that we do this at noon? Should we do it later or should we do this at noon? I don't know what you guys, what you prefer. Let's see. Penta forced to plow on into St. Martin. That's not what we want to do. This is kind of the same thing. I mean, pushing a city like this. Oh, yesterday. Yeah, okay. Wait, yesterday was Saturday though, right? How does that work? I thought people went to school Monday to Friday. Going to St. Martin is like we saw in the game 1 in Erangel. It's like pushing into pushing into Severny. It's a last resort type thing. They tried to scout out, they didn't get what they needed. They lost a player early, now they lost one more, and now Kane is all by himself. It's just not a good position for them. Liquid trying to push in from straight north. They were in a screwed up position just like all the other guys. Hoakstar tried to continue over around the other side, but he got caught out by Liquid. Now you have a triple stack here of back from Sargi. I guess only double really, in the sense that Hoakstar is alone. But back from Sargi and Liquid, they're up here. They most likely, I would assume that Fun, no, not that Robin and I can't see the last name, would be shooting or take control of them. So what Liquid needs to do is either go around one side or another. What we've seen them do before is do these crazy rotations where they go all the way around south and then come in down here, or the other way around actually, go in here and then come down here. But I just don't think they have room to do that, depending on, of course, how Diamond Dogs and Rustenma and Squeaky decide to play it. But we'll have to wait and see. See, James is already rotating. He's gonna go out and pick up Mister. I would think more and more teams start plowing into St. Martin. Not what they want to do, of course, but kind of, as we said before, a last resort type thing. Ah, okay, that's how it is. Makes sense then, makes sense. Mikas and Squeaky driving forward. They're going straight into Vard. They wanted to get a piece of St. Martin. Now they do, but they're split. That's gonna be tough. They do manage to get together now. I mean, also for a team like NIP or WGSG, they're split right now. They need to figure out, do we want to keep the split or do we want to get closer to each other? Because these, one thing is they're split, but they're really far away from each other. You don't really see that because you just see a big city, but this is quite a distance to cover if some of them gets knocked or breached and you want to try and help them out. So kind of interesting. And hello, Mr. Mapstream. Okay. Phantom pushes down, or gets pushed down by Hoakstar. He's gonna be taken out. That push really, I mean, the fact that El Giganten early on tried to push around the northern side, super smart play by them. And then they just got a southwestern hard shift, and there was just no room for them. I mean, there was no access point. He even actually tried to come over on the other side like we talked about earlier, but did not work at all the way that he wanted it to. Velan is all alone as well. Knights have a really nice position in here. Inside the inside of the city. Base is still 4 guys up. I'm kind of surprised by why one of these is more orange than the other one. I mean, they're the same team, but they're different colors, kinda. James and Samty over here. I guess they lost Mr. I can't really see him anywhere, at least. He might have been taken down. Didn't see that happen earlier. But it did actually, they did decide to go around the right side. Now the new circle pops. It's gonna go a little outside of St. Martin, but still with some of it in. And I know that we're just fast forwarding this a bit, but you can still get the idea of what's happening. And this is where the remake, yeah, they lost him on the rotation, that's what I figured. This is where the remake of St. Martin really comes to screw people over, right? Because beforehand, I'll just slow-mo it. This used to be a big warehouse. Warehouse. You used to have a huge container pile up here on the side of the mountain too that you could play around. And now with them gone and the area not really having been redone to that big of an extent, this is really hard to play around. This is really open, and there's no, just as much as there's no entry to the city without taking fire, because I mean that's why you see so many teams sitting on the edge of the city rather than sitting like dead center, right? So just as much as that's tough to breach the city, that also makes it equally tough for teams to leave the city. So if if St. Martin shouldn't be in coming to the next circle, that could be interesting to see how teams will try and figure out how they can push out from here. We'll speed it up a little, see what happens. Also, in case you guys didn't know, we're doing NA after this, so if you want to stick around for that, do well, stick around. Liquid sit on the edge. They don't want to go do anything overly aggressive. That's the thing, right? They didn't have a chance to scout that much. Now they come up here, they start scouting, and this is where they push into the open. Where can they go from here? They probably want to breach the compound, because right now they're sitting on the hillside. They do have some ridges there that they can play around, but going uphill like that, they need to get out of the vehicles, and they decide to do that. Smart play coming from them. Voxic hears the vehicles and all the commotion from Havu shooting at them, so that forces Knights to push their focus over in this direction. But they still, of course, need to keep people on the southern side of the compound. So smart in the sense that they don't like all go up there, but they keep people on the other side of the compound too. Mexi and 8C pushing on in. Gemty has been knocked. Foss is taking damage. He's getting knocked as well. Now he gets taken out. Now Mexi and Gemty, no, Mexi and 8C, they need to figure out if they want to commit to this or not. They do actually jump out on top of 8C there, so looks like they're going for the hero play. There are 5 teams inside of St. Martin. Look at this, man. This is just tough. This is tough for anyone to play. I would say the teams with the best positions right now would probably be Habu, and actually back from Sargi. They're sitting really well up the sort of they have a huge downhill on this side, and they've been sitting up here. The fact that they've had 2 players, or actually all their entire team early on, sitting up here and scouting all this. No, why are you doing this? Why you do this? Sitting up here and scout down here, knowing that this area is open now. All they have to do with this circle is make sure that teams cannot push them from behind. You see 3D Max, they're kind of going in that direction right now. So all they really have to do is just make sure that they won't get pushed from the side. All of the teams from St. Martin will be forced out. That's going to be really tough. Knights, they'll have to figure out, do we want to stay split, or do we want to narrow it down to fewer buildings to sort of be able to help out each other? Fight happens on the west side. That's going to be Reckoning out, almost taking down Singularity as well. So Sarah down. Solo player, he gets knocked. No, not Solo. Taylor's there as well. But impressive that FaZe actually managed to stay up. There you go. EMC with the finish up onto him. He's going to take fire from 3D Max. This is really, really good for Back from Sargi. Back from Sargi, they still had 2 guys sitting over here. That's, I believe, yeah, Robin and Senta, they were still sitting over here. 3D Max, they were pushing up towards where Back from Sargi were sitting, but because they hear all the action over here and they see that Singularity are dropping like flies, they turn around to go over in third party, and that actually leaves a lot of space up for Back from Sargi. So really fortunate for them that they went over on the other side. No worries, Grim. Come back anytime you want. And this is just chaos. I mean, there's not a whole lot to analyze off of what's going on in St. Martin, other than people trying to get out of there alive. It's just a really tough area to play around. We're fast forwarding a bit here. Tomil trying to see if he can do something to make some room for his team, but they're sitting on like the foot of the mountain, or the foot of the hill down here, and there's just not a lot of area to play around for them. Knights, their biggest role right now is just to keep everyone out. Base gets eliminated. Everything is lagging right now. I'm not sure exactly why that is. What if we just play it in normal speed? Does it lag as well? Hello? Would you mind not lagging so much? We're not dropping frames, so that's not the internet. I'm not sure exactly why it's lagging so much. Are people writing in the chat that it is? No. Interesting. I'm not sure why it's lagging. We'll fast forward it a bit and live with the lag. We can still see what's going on, even though it's pretty laggy actually. So everybody's trying to push in. This is kind of what do you say? Unusable. Why does it lag so much? It wasn't lagging just a minute ago. We'll just try and refresh it. 6 hours and 28 minutes. Six hours and 28 minutes. Hello? Everything is frozen? Why is it lagging so much? Does it lag if we go back earlier as well? That's not lagging at all. Okay, so it's something with the stream. It's not on my end. It's something with the stream that's lagging. Yeah, that I was getting confused there for a while. We'll clip it a little. We'll try and fast forward a bit then. Knights, they lose one guy. Looks like one goes down. Look at how many people are alive in the final circle. This is Death Circle, and you have 2 4-man teams, a 3-man team, and a duo. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it really is. It really is, Ruben. Unfortunately, everything is kind of lagging, as you can see. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it is. Does it lag here as well? Oh, now it's back to normal. Okay, that's good. So let's just take it back a little. Oh, we can actually start it from here. That's okay. There you go. People are still parachuting and stuff, so that's not too bad. Any changes to drop locations? Nope. Knights still playing it cramped up here. Fuzzface is looting. Okay, that's interesting. I guess he went for vehicles and didn't get any. Singularity. Looting Porto Paraíso now. They were valid in Mar before. So, changing up once again. Yeah, plenty of room for everyone to loot really. Phantom might hear Fuzzface up here as he comes driving by him. It'll be an unfortunate loss real early on. He does spot him, takes a lot of damage. At least hit twice though. Looks like he's able to get out. Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep your cool. You gotta be able to keep your focus in those situations. It gets really tough sometimes. Especially if you're the one who has to call the shots, right? Because one thing is just having to do what you're told, but when you have to come up with a plan, that gets really tough sometimes. This is not house music at all. I put on a house music playlist. That's not what you're listening to. That's more of it. This is not house music. Anyway. This is more house. Yeah, well then you gotta figure out how can you play around it. Do you want to stay on the edge or do you want to push knowing that it's gonna be probably forced into another team, or should you maybe have gone earlier towards the center? I mean, there are many ways to sort of work around that, but not always easy, of course. Now let's see. Everybody's rotating in. Texas sort of splitting in between Reckoning. I got hiccups. That ain't good. this is kind of what you end up with, right? When you have so many teams looting, I believe you have 1, 2, 3, because you have knights, and you also have G2 looting up down here. Then you have WCSG looting here. You have Reckoning looting up here, and you have Liquid in here. And I mean, you're just forced into clusters. You're fighting over the same vehicles. That's one thing. That means that one of the teams will always be forced to start the looting phase later. And then if you're rotating at the same time, you see both Knights and Reckoning, they're rotating into each other. G2 and WCSG, or NIP, sorry, they're rotating into each other as well. So this is just two fights that you want to avoid for both the teams, really. But that unfortunately don't work out the way you want. So it looks like NIP lose one player. Now Knights is shooting at Reckoning. And that's the whole thing with making enough space for yourself on your rotations, but also dropping smart. I mean, I'm not saying that these guys are not dropping in good places. It's just really clustered, whereas there are other areas that are completely open that might have been the better choice. It might not be what you're used to, but could be a better choice. Also for those of you guys who are here now, tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, Tuesday, we're doing the second episode of my podcast, Toby's Talking Grounds. I have two guys from Asia, from the Asian scene, and we'll be talking about the Asian scene compared to the European and NA and all that stuff. So if you're around, it's gonna be live. We have a Twitch questions answering session, Twitch Q&A as well at the end of the talk. So do jump on in on Tuesday, sorry, at 5 p.m. CET. So 3 hours from now in 2 days. New circle's gonna pop. There we go. It's gonna go northwest up towards Penta. That's kind of interesting. They get the split up on the church. Looks like Kane. Yeah, Kane should be rotating over towards his teammates because that's a really, really good place to sit in this circle. You also have a compound kind of down around here. You can't really see it now before they zoom in on the map, but a really good compound down there. EU seems to have kept fan compound and wait for the final circle unless you have to move to shrubbery. You have to be aggressive. Well, I mean, no, you can ask that. It's not really so much that you don't want to play aggressive. It's more in the sense that I mean, why would you want to push somewhere else if you get the circle? If you're in a compound that's decent and you get a circle, meaning that you won't be forced to rotate out, you don't have to scout other things. So of course you want to constantly be scouting in case you don't get the circle next time after that one. But why would you want to force yourself into a potential bad situation if you're in a good one? So it's not really so much and wait for the final circle, kind of. It's more of a play it smart. Yeah. I mean, people play aggressive. People take chances in the way that they push compounds. But you only see people play aggressive if they are in a bad spot and they have a chance to get to a better one. There's no reason to push out into a fight if you're sitting in a good spot, and with this fight you're forcing yourself into a worse one, potentially losing players in doing so. You might get 4 kills, but if you lose 2 players and you lose 6 placements in that game because you pushed out to take the aggressive fight, did it really help you in the end? No, it didn't, because odds are that you came out on the other end with like 50-60 fewer points total after that game because your placements were that much worse. So there's no reason to play overly aggressive if you're in a good spot. If you're in a rough spot and you get pushed upon by another team that's in an equally bad spot, then you can force yourself into a fight and say, well, there's no way that we're getting out of this without fighting this team. But if you have a chance to avoid the fight and sit inside your compound and do nothing, technically, you're doing a lot, even though it seems like you're doing nothing. But if you can just lay low, then you would always want to do that, no matter how aggressive of a team you normally are. Now, let's see how this circle pushes on in. Back from Sarki, they've decided to go around the western side and are sitting down here trying to take out the guys from Habu. I think they got one guy down. Yes, they did. Team Yikes and Simsi and Diamond Dogs will be rotating on around the southern side too. Map, thank you. Will be zoomed in. And these sort of Chumacera hillside endings are interesting because you have a lot of hills here and they all go in this direction, right? They all go down in this direction. And then you have this bowl down here that goes down into this area. And then on the southern side of all this, this is just huge hills with a lot of weeds on it. Whereas to this entire area here, it's really open. So a lot of different terrain within the same circle, which makes it interesting because you can, if you know that you're like, if you're sitting up here, then you know that odds are that it's going to be somewhat like if you're sitting around here, odds are that it's going to be an open ending no matter what, unless of course if it ends on one of the compounds. So you can sort of plan for that. But here as an IGL, it could be an urban ending, it could be a hill, like a huge hill ending, it could be a flat ending. There are so many different ways that this could go that you sort of need to constantly keep both A, B, and C in your mix and not just sort of say it's going to be open ending, cool, let's keep our vehicles and we can make a car fort. You can't play around that because you won't know what type of circle it's going to be before, if not the next one, then even the one after that. Ooh. That's kind of interesting, but let's see just exactly how this pans out with a new circle pushing in. Reckoning is split. Now the circle goes even further over towards Chumacera. You still have the church area, and here's a really nice spot. And then you have like a road up here where you have ridges on each side. That's pretty useful. But this is gonna be hail. I mean, this is gonna be real chaotic for a lot of these players trying to rotate in. Is there even sound? No. This area of the map, you have, as I said, you have the ridges here on this road that you can play around. And then you have the building here, you have a huge compound down here and the area here. And then alongside all the roads, you have small, you have dips on each side of the road on the in the intersections that you can also utilize. But other than that, from here, like this is all flat. There are hills, but it's flat in the sense that it's not really far uphill. Then you have a lot of uphill going right here. That's really steep, which means that you can pretty much only safely bring vehicles if you stick to the roads to which there are only 3 of, or if you take over here as well. So teams that aren't in now will have to go around. Like if they want to go to the northern side, they have to go really far around if they want to get up there, because they don't want to drive through the city. They don't want to go by this area because that's one of the most obvious places in this circle to sit. So for teams that are still out trying to make their way in, they will be forced to sit either on the edges, like it doesn't really matter where I'm marked right now, but sit on the edges or try to go all the way around up to the northern side, which I actually guess could be the better play. But let's see just how they're planning on pushing forward here. Singularity in vehicles, Moonwolf, they're technically in. I'll just see what they're planning on doing. Tau Zero runs over Calvin, that's not smart. It looks like he ran him over. I'm not sure exactly who did what. There are 3 guys in a vehicle. That's not one you want to do in the later stages of the game. And as I said before, this is all downhill towards the compound that FaZe are in. It's like a huge ball just looking down towards the compound down here. Oh, Sarah gets a knock onto one of the guys from Moonwolf. And this is kind of what we were talking about before, Boomer, where you have Singularity in a compound that's far out on the edge. You have Moonwolf in a shitty position too. And they're kind of freezing each other because they can't push in, because then they'll be shut out from Moonwolf. And Moonwolf can't push back up the hill Because then they'll be shot at from Singularity. So they kind of need to take this fight, even though none of them really want to. That's a lot of chocolate. James trying to plow on through. That's the dip we were talking about just before. He goes by it. I mean, there are a lot of small dips and sort of hilly areas down here that you can play around, the downhill down here that you can play around. Nobody's the winner of that fight. South Zero forced to make a run for it. Moonwolf taking out Singularity, but they're spending so much time fighting on the south side down here that it allows for all the other teams to push on in. FaZe will have heard the fight going on, so they'll be aware of what's going on. Mixer gets a high ground position to try and sort of fight that off. South Zero is gonna go down as he tries to cross the road, I would assume. Yep, there you go. He goes down. And now this is going to be real tough for Moonwolf. They need to push forward, but they have Penta shooting at them, and then we'll have Gemty and FaZe shooting at them as well. Risu goes down. They need to get 1 or 2 knocks onto these guys to make any sort of a play. Like, at all. Diamond Dog's trying to hold off Team Yikes. One goes down, Super goes down as well. There you go. Washout taken out. O'Connell and Edgicast is all that's left. I guess you could have Edgicast play on the side down here, but he will be visible to Penta. Now it starts lagging again. I'm not sure exactly why this is happening. Normal speed? Stop lagging? No. Oh, now it's my connection. I can see. Oh, it just messed up with my internet connection there. Huh. That was all on me. But now the lag isn't on me. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll fast forward a bit. It's gonna be an end game on the side hill here. It's not exactly the most interesting place in the world to have an end game, but this is a huge open area. We have a compound, and then you have, of course, the building up here, which the guys from Penta has been fortunate to sit in for a long time. All the teams will have to push on down the hill. It's kind of annoying that we can't really see what goes on. G2 and Penta forced into a fight. They both get eliminated because they're fighting on the edge. That's unfortunate. Mista and James somehow still alive. Split off in between the Reckoning. Knights with a really good position. Also back from Sarki, sitting over on the west side there. We'll fast forward a bit more, and the game is over. Let's just wait and see who won the game. Knights push out, take control, smart play by them. And I would highly assume that they win it too, but it's really laggy, so let's not spend more time.